Welcome to the Embodied Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Rachael Meeds, and we're in a brand new motherfucking season, y'all. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And this whole new era of this podcast is really about supporting you in uncensoring your voice, unfucking your relationship with being seen, and really stepping into your unashamed, unstoppable, unapologetic as fuck era in your embodied leadership. So I'm really excited to have you here today. And we are going to be diving into an episode all about taking radical responsibility of your life, of your business, of who you're choosing to be in the world, and how this relates to your self-expression. But first, it's been a hot fucking minute. So I feel like we just need to do a little bit of a recap of where the fuck I've been. Because the last episode, I was pregnant as fuck. And I was like, oh yeah, I should do this series about pregnancy and how that's relating to my business and all the things. And no, absolutely did not fucking happen. I really had a fucking hard time toward the end of my pregnancy. And if you want to read all about my birth story, it's really powerful. It's really beautiful. It's super vulnerable. And that's actually available on my Instagram at Rachael Meeds. I may or may not record an episode about it. It feels like something that I do, I would love to share on this podcast, but I just don't know when it's going to happen. So definitely, if you want to read all about my birth story and how I went from, imagining this, just a really beautiful home birth experience, and I had it all planned out for years really, to ending up having a belly birth in the hospital and giving birth to my incredible daughter Akaria Lux on the full moon lunar eclipse in September on the 17th. You can go to my Instagram and read all about that. It's magical and intense and all the things. So that's where I've been. And I feel as though, how I'm really coming into this next chapter of my life is with so much insight as to where I was really holding myself back in previous chapters. Becoming a mother has been the biggest initiation ever. And if you're a mom, you're probably like, yeah, duh. The journey of matrescence is mind-blowing. And my daughter is going to be 4 months in a few days, or a week, I guess. And the first couple months in particular were a complete demolition of the old self. And I felt really unsure about how I was going to come back into a relationship with my business, into a relationship with my leadership, because my whole world got fucking rocked, and if you read my birth story, you'll understand on a deeper level how much of an impact that really had on me. And I questioned, for the first time ever in my business, I questioned what I if I really was even gonna if I was just gonna be a mom. I shouldn't say just a mom. Being a mom, if that's the path that people take, it can be absolutely fulfilling, even if that's your main focus. So I don't want to undermine that, but I really had this inner dialogue with myself where I was am I going to give it all up, so to speak, and just be a mom? And I played with that. Again, this is the first time in my business that I even remotely uttered the words throwing in the towel, so to speak. I've never, ever, ever, ever thought that would be something I would even remotely consider, because I'm very fucking devoted and passionate about what I do. I've been doing this for a long time. This year I'm going into my 9th year of doing the work that I do in terms of coaching people, including the time that I worked in the fitness industry. And yeah, it was a really interesting thing. And like, we even, like, my husband and I, even though we've been doing business together forever, like, we played with the, like, oh, like, he's the provider, and like, I'm just, gonna do the mom thing and be a homemaker. And then I was fucking miserable, dude. And not because I don't love being a mom. I love being a mom. I am like so enamored by my daughter. I love, 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 love being a mom. And I love my work. I love what I do in the world. I'm so passionate about what I do in the world. It means the fucking world to me to do what I do in the world. And I had to kind of realize, like, holy shit, no, I want my daughter to actually see her mama and her passion and her joy and her purpose. I want my daughter to go, holy shit, my mom helps so many fucking people doing what she does. That is amazing. Like, I am her, her role model, right? And so my fulfillment, my joy, my happiness, all of that impacts her on the deepest fucking level. Because if you are a mama, you know that your nervous system is intrinsically connected to your children's, especially in those first 7 years. And so if I'm unfulfilled and I'm unhappy and I'm feeling like disconnected from myself, like, that impacts my children, right? And my nervous system actually impacts my whole household. It's amazing. It's amazing. I've actually, like, put this to the test, right? Because this is something I was just, like, read about. And then there was a time, again, in those early days, like the first couple months in particular, even like the first, like, yeah, first 2.5 months were really fucking hard. And there were some days where I was like really dysregulated and really like feeling just like, I was like, I think that I'm like experiencing what is called postpartum depression. And I was like, no wonder, like, my family doesn't live here. It's just Justin and I. Like, Justin and I are the village. Super fucking hard. Like, and I like was like having these days where, like, some days I just felt so fucking dysregulated. And my daughter, like, the way that she would be, like, in terms of like her like fussiness and things of that nature, would be like so amplified on those days. So I realized, oh my gosh, like, me really prioritizing my self-care, really prioritizing my rest to the best of my ability, which is, a whole thing when you're a new mama, like prioritizing what brings me joy. Like, these things are so important. They impact my daughter, my whole home. Like, I need to take responsibility here, right? So all of that to say, it was probably I would say like a week before December started. And it just felt like I just got a big ol' fucking spanking from God. And God was like, stop fucking around on the gift that I've given you, which is your vision. And I was like, yeah, totally. Because what I started to realize was that I was no longer able to wallow in my bullshit anymore, because I'm a mom, right? The parts of me that used to be in the driver's seat, like the younger parts, like the part, like the teenager part, the child part, like the parts of me that would kind of, overcome my like adult self in decision making and go, oh, like, we can just do that later, or like, oh, like, I'm really scared to be misunderstood, and therefore I'm going to, completely avoid doing certain things in my business because I'm afraid of being seen in that expression of who I am. And like, God forbid I'm misunderstood. And so I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to avoid things. I'm going to, not really do too much because it's like hard work, like these narratives that like were honest to God in the driver's seat of my fucking life for a really long time, fucking eradicated, demolished, like, no more. Because becoming a parent is the biggest responsibility. You are literally responsible for another living human's life. You are responsible for them living, okay? Doesn't matter if you're fucking tired. Doesn't matter if you're having a hard day. Doesn't fucking matter. You have a little baby who needs you, and you got to show the fuck up and be a good parent, right? You got to be present. You got to be embodied to be able to show up for that little beautiful human in integrity with so much love and care. So it was so interesting because what you may have heard me talk about on the show before is how one of the biggest blocks that I kept running into was this fear of responsibility, because it felt like a threat to my freedom. And if you're new to this show, something that I just want to really add here is that part of my work is what I do is not just what I do. This work is like a fundamental part of who I am. And the things that I teach, I've run through my own system. I've experimented with in my own life. I've experienced in my own life in some way, shape, or form, which is part of why I'm an expert at the things that I talk about. Because I'm not just like spitting shit out of my I was gonna say spitting shit out of my ass, and that just like doesn't sound like the most beautiful imagery to try to like describe this. I'm not just like talking shit, this isn't just knowledge, this is embodied wisdom, because I'm the living, breathing expression of what I teach. Part of my magic, if you will, is whatever I'm interested in, I like fucking study deeply. I love to learn. I study it fucking deeply, and I take all of that and I go apply it to my life. I experiment, I make mistakes, I like throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. I like trial and error it. Like, this is my medicine. And so if you're familiar with human design, I'm a manifesting generator with a 1-3 profile. So you're probably like, yeah, totally makes sense. Anyways, just wanted to add that there in case you're new to the show. So I like I was saying, I had this like really deep self-awareness that like the fear of responsibility was actually behind the like fear of success. And something you'll hear me say all the time is when people say like, I'm afraid of success or I'm afraid to be seen, that's like really just the surface level of what's actually going on. Like, you're not like, it's kind of bullshit, like from the standpoint, stay with me for a second, that what's actually behind the fear of being seen is the fear of being judged, misunderstood, rejected, having your character misrepresented. Like, that's really what is happening. And the discomfort of those things is what prevents you from doing the things and taking the actions and allowing yourself to go for the opportunities that you really want, that relate to you being seen. And same with success, like the fear of success, if you will. And if you're watching this on video, I'm like adding, like finger quotes here, is oftentimes the fear of responsibility and the fear of like what it means to be seen in that success. Because again, all of the things that I just listed, that fear of rejection, being misunderstood, and etc. And so I'd been working with this like pattern in myself because I'd become consciously aware of it back in the beginning of 2023. But I just like couldn't fully fucking snap out of it. Like, I would dip in and out of this pattern, And if you're, on a journey of, personal growth, which if you're listening to this podcast, I can pretty much guarantee that you are, like, it's very normal and very human to revisit certain things that you've already like, in quotations, have dealt with. Like, that's part of the human journey. It's not linear, it's cyclical. And so everything is kind of in this spiral. And so it's very common for us to like meet very specific themes that we're meant to work through in this particular human process over and over and over again in new ways, because we have new wisdom that we bring to these things, and there's just like deeper transformation that takes place. So it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It's just like, this is just the nature of being human. We're here to learn some like fucking tough lessons sometimes. And one of mine was responsibility. And so I realized this, right? And then again was like having a hard time like breaking through it. And then I became a mother, and it was like, fuck, okay, well, bye. Hello, the biggest responsibility of my life. And that like initiation has now applied like to every area of my life. Like, there is no fucking around. Like, it's like I have to do things and get to do things with precision and focus. And it's like, okay, something needs to be done. I do the fucking thing, because there is no, like, the procrastination pattern is not, it's not like, it's not a thing anymore, because the parts of me that used to really rely on procrastinating and avoidance, they're not like in the driver's seat anymore. The like mama fucking powerful woman that I am is because of the things that I've experienced in becoming a mother, but also because of the decision to choose that. And this is the thing, right? Like, decision is one of the most powerful frequencies that there is. And the thing that I feel is so important, and I'm actually learning this from one of my mentors right now, is that discipline and focus are so necessary. They're so necessary. And if you have like a fucky weird relationship with the word discipline, like, exchange it for devotion. Like, they essentially mean the same thing. Some people just have a weird, like, oh, discipline means like I have to be really masculine and I like sacrifice my well-being. Like, no. No, discipline actually is a act of self-love. It's a like, oh, okay, I'm really like, I mean, if you're a parent, this might not apply to you, but like, oh, I'm really fucking tired. And because I'm really fucking tired, I am going to choose to have the discipline to go fucking take a nap, or to go to sleep at a reasonable hour to get the rest that I need, instead of scrolling on my phone or watching another like 5 episodes on Netflix, right? Discipline, focus. Like, it's like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I need to do it. Discipline is enacted to do the fucking thing, you know? So there's always different actions that we need to be taking to get the result that we want. And that means that we have to also look at, what is the responsibility that what I want holds, and am I willing to do the fucking work to make it happen, right? Do the fucking work to make it happen. And another thing I'm learning from one of my coaches right now, well, I don't even know if I'd call her a coach. I'd call her a teacher. One of my teachers, one of my mentors. Her name's Mommy Onami. I fucking love her. Anyways, is like, faith without work is delusion, right? Faith without work is delusion. And we are not here for just like having like these delulu goals. I know like there's a lot of people, and I've never really resonated with this at all. Like, there's a lot of people that teach like, be delusional, be delusional. And it's like, no, what I want isn't delusional, because it's like, I know that it exists. I'm going to do the work to make it happen. I'm going to work with God. I'm going to like surrender when I need to surrender. I'm going to, work hard when I need to work hard. I'm going to befriend my fears. I'm going to befriend the discomfort. I'm going to do the thing. It's not delusional. It exists. It's happening. What's delusional, truly, is having a vision, right? Really wanting something, and then waking up year after year after year and not having it, because you're not actually taking the responsibility to create that thing, because you're not taking the actions that are required to create that thing. You're not being the person, the type of person you need to be to create that thing, right? So it's not delusional. It's real, so long as you're willing to do the work, to be really intentional, to take the responsibility, right? And in that, it's like, okay, so if you're afraid of responsibility, because this is always what it seems like is going on when it comes to like the fear of responsibility. It's like several different things, and some things I may not even mention that you're like, oh fuck, this is real for me. There's a fear of losing your freedom, because for so many people that fear responsibility, one of their highest values is freedom. And when you have a high value of freedom, and this is my stuff that I've fucking overcome, baby. When you have a high value of freedom, what starts to happen is anything that is going to be added to your plate, you start to view as a threat to that freedom. How this showed up for me is, I've been full time in my business now for four years. Yeah, 4 years. The end of this year, I'll be 5 years. And yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yes. So I've had a lot of space on my calendar for a long time. Like, I've worked primarily with private clients. I've run masterminds. I've run group programs. I've run other offerings as well over the years. But primarily have like existed in a comfort zone of working with private clients that pay me really prosperously. I love one-on-one work. It's worked well for me. Lots of space, lots of time to go frolic in the forest with my fucking husband, like, a vibe. And so I started to like, even though my bigger vision has asked, like, okay, more responsibility, more clients than ever before through a very particular offering that is going to allow me to reach way more people, hundreds and hundreds of people in one offering. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a little bit. Like, even just like being devoted to like my YouTube channel and this podcast, like it like the smallest things that I actually love. Like, I fucking love doing this. Like, I love it. Just the irony. I love working. I love what I do and all the different ways that I do things. I would just like have this like subconscious core commitment of like keeping my freedom, that like my conscious desire of having more of something would totally get overrun by this subconscious pattern. And I'd be like viewing anything else on my calendar as like a threat to my freedom, to the space, right? The spaciousness, all the while still experiencing like stress and like not like really feeling like super 100% fulfilled because I was like sleeping on the fucking bigger vision, because I was afraid of being misunderstood. I was afraid of the more responsibility, right? So there's that piece. And then when it comes to the fear of responsibility, there's also like, people start to look at, okay, more responsibility in my bigger vision when I call in more clients, call in like more visibility on my social media platforms, and I'm serving, more like a higher volume of clients in my program. All of that means to someone who's afraid of responsibility, like, oh my gosh, there's going to be way more money to manage. Do I trust myself to be able to handle that? My tax bill is going to be higher. I'm going to have to hire a team. Like, that feels overwhelming. Oh my god, if I have more eyes on me and my work, that exposes me to a greater chance of being hated on or canceled or misunderstood, or like all of these things are really what's going on. And so there's avoidance that happens, and you'll like stay in what you perceive to be the most familiar, aka what you think is the most safe. And then you keep you go on and on and on. You keep finding yourself in a similar flavor of the success that you're in or the level that you're at, but it's not really where you want to be, right? And so this is where this like befriending the discomfort of the responsibility is so, so important. And it's like, becoming the type of person that's like, fuck, yes, I love the responsibility. Like, I fucking love being responsible, because when I'm responsible, that means that I'm actually creating the success that I want, the impact I want, the wealth I want. Like, fuck yeah, I can handle a higher tax bill. Fuck yes, I can handle larger sums of money, because I'm going to set myself up for success by making sure that my habits and my patterns that I have with the money that I already am making are set into place where I'm actually in right relationship with my business systems, with my money systems, with the systems that I need to make sure my clients are deeply supported. And yeah, when it comes to hiring a team, I'll fucking figure it out if I haven't done it before. Like, whatever it is, you can figure it out. You can fucking figure it out. 100%. Think of all the things that you've already accomplished, have already done, that you're doing right now, that at one point in time you thought, oh my God, how could I ever do that? How could I ever fucking do that? Now, like, you've like acclimated to that new kind of comfort zone, right? And the part of the path of being an embodied leader is to be somebody who's willing to befriend discomfort and expand and expand and expand, right? Like, you're here, that's what you're here to do. You're here to be a mirror and a portal of possibility for other people through being willing to like throw yourself into the fire, so to speak, to go first and to like be like, hey guys, like, look at, like, this is where we get to go next. Like, here's all the beautiful lessons I've learned. Here's what here are the teachings that I've developed through my study, through my work, through my lessons, like all the things, right? And so like the fear of responsibility will fuck you over over and over and over again if you're not conscious of what's going on, if you don't have the systems in place to support yourself, to be able to recognize, like, hey, this is where I start to self-sabotage. This is where I start to hit my upper limit. This is where I start to step into avoidance strategies and procrastinate the fuck out of the things I want to be doing. Like, having that level of self-awareness is so key. And then it's also like having the ability to take the responsibility to notice when you're doing it, to change the pattern, to pattern interrupt and make a different decision. Because so many people have this story of like, it's hard, like I can't. Yeah, you fucking can. You can do this. You can change your fucking life. You can change anything you set your mind to. The story that you tell yourself is what is in the way. Like, there's a time and a like this is there's a time and a place for softness, right? There's a time and a place for like real gentleness with yourself, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a time when you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, get the fuck up and do the fucking thing. Get the fuck up. It's not about you. Do the thing. Do the thing you said you're going to do, because it's not just about you. It's about the vision you hold. It's about the lives you're going to impact. Think about, for just a moment, instead of like being so self-centered and being like, oh, this is all about me, which is fucking not. Think for a moment, like literally picture, like through the action that you take, through deciding to show up in your business, through deciding to use your voice, through deciding to sell the offer, to create the offer, to launch it, like all the things, to market yourself, like to be really, really fucking unapologetic and selling the fuck out of your beautiful work. Instead of like visualizing you as the center of it all and being like, oh, like it's hard, like blah, like I want you to picture all the people that you're gonna like, the lives you're gonna change, the lives you're gonna impact. How does everyone else benefit from your fucking holy yes, from your sacred fucking yes to doing the damn thing? Like, that is what needs to be at the forefront of your heart. Because yeah, again, like sometimes like gentleness and softness and like going into like, all the past things you've gone through is to, and psychoanalyzing yourself, like, has a time and a place. Absolutely. But that can be a fucking crutch, dude. Like, that can be a crutch. That in and of itself can be a self-sabotaging pattern where it's like every time you feel discomfort, or every time the thing is hard, or every time, you like are going through a situation where like, yeah, just like things feel uncomfortable. Like, you just, instead of like doing the thing, you're like, oh, I need to like go into all my past trauma, and I need to like go and like do all the healing practices and all this. Like, look, I am all for the the transformative work. Like, I do this work. I literally work with people's subconscious. I work with people's somatic experience. I work within the realms of mysticism. Like, these are the things that I do in the world. And sometimes you just need to like literally look at yourself in the mirror and be like, get the fuck up and do the thing. This isn't about you, dude. It's not just about you. Like, yes, you benefit from the things you do. Absolutely. Like, I love making money. I love like having options. I love the experiences that I get to have in my life because of my business. Like, I love how I benefit from my work. So grateful. And I really give a fuck about like how I'm impacting people, and what it is that I get to do in the world, how it is that my teachings get to initiate and support other people into doing this work in their own way, or learning something really important that then helps them go on to do incredible fucking things. It's that like it's like the reciprocity, the ripple effect. Like, that is so important. And so when it comes to this fear of responsibility, I really want you to ask yourself, like, how am I currently benefiting from staying fucking small? how am I currently benefiting from this like pattern of not doing the things that I really want to be doing? Because you benefit from it. Like if you didn't benefit from it, you wouldn't do it, right? So again, as an example, for me, how I was benefiting from my fear of responsibility and not doing the things that I really wanted to be doing was I got to exist in my comfort zone. I got to like I got to basically like hide to some extent, which allowed me to think that I was in control of avoiding being misunderstood. I got to I got to like really yeah, just like exist in this like reality where, I had a bunch of space on my calendar, but some of the time like that space didn't really even feel that great when I was really honest with myself, but I thought it was feeling good because I was like, oh, look at all the space, look at all the freedom, right? Like there's ways that any limiting pattern you have, any money block, so to speak, that you have, any mental block you have, so to speak, that you have, like in some way, shape, or form, you are benefiting from it. And so get real with yourself. How am I benefiting from this? And then it's like, do I really want to keep acting like this? Do I really want to keep like hoarding my gifts? Do I really want to keep hiding in plain sight? Do I really want to like keep caging my expression, caging my voice as an attempt to control how other people see me, as an attempt to control like the way that people relate to me? Like I'm almost certain you're gonna like be like, absolutely fucking not. And then it's like, okay, well, what do you need to do instead? What do you need to do instead? What is the true vision that you have? And what are the actions that you need to be taking? What is it that you really, really want? And then you need to look at, okay, well, what do I need to create to make that happen? If there's a specific amount of money that I want to be making, well, what do I need to be selling? What do I need to be creating in the world? How do I need to be showing up in my life? Right? Like, there is always answers and always solutions to challenging situations, to patterns that you don't want to be existing in anymore. And those things that you may need to do change how you're being in your life are probably going to feel really uncomfortable at first. Like just straight up. and and yes, like at first like there is going to be a need for a strong level of willpower, a strong level of like creating against systems that like really help you be in integrity with what you say you want, to be able to like really co-create with God, with the creator, whatever fucking word resonates, and be like, this is what I want, show me the fucking way. And you will get your answer. You will get your fucking answer. And then you need to do the work. You need to do the work. Something that I've been saying to myself, and this is another thing that you see all the time in like the online space, especially within, I really don't see like men talking about this very often, but particularly with women, they're like such an aversion to the word hard, like such an aversion. It's like, no, like it needs to be easy. It's like, okay, ease and simplicity isn't the same as easy, right? Like something can be simple and made easeful through initially doing the hard motherfucking work to make it easy or easeful and simple. Like anything that you've never done before is probably going to feel hard at first. That's just like a normal thing. It doesn't mean that that's bad. It just means it's normal. Like your brain's like, fuck, I need to change a part of my identity. That feels hard. Oh shit, there's a new habit I need to develop. Fuck, that feels hard. Like it's not bad. Just like a fact of the matter. It's like, if you've never really gone to the gym and you start going to the gym, those first 3 weeks are fucking brutal, dude. Brutal. You're like, fuck, I'm tired. My muscles hurt. Oh my God, it's so hard. And then it becomes easier. Not easy because it's still work. It's still a thing that you're doing to shift who you are, to like change parts of your experience, but like it becomes more easeful. There's more simplicity because you're like, oh, I figured out how to use that machine, or like I figured out how to do that thing, right? So something that I've been saying to myself, because even being a new mama, right? There are times when it's so fucking hard. You're like sleep deprived and your baby is like really tired, but they're also like wide-eyed and smiling at you, because my daughter in particular, she is just like totally enamored by the world. She is so inquisitive. Like she just loves looking around and like taking it all in. Like so she'll be like so fucking tired and still be like, I want to see everything. I want to see everything. And she's kind of like her mama in that way. Um, and then you're sleep deprived and you're like, also like, fuck, I still need to like go clean like up my kitchen and like I have some work I need to do. And you're like, oh my goodness, right? Like it can be really fucking hard. So what I've started telling myself is, I love hard fucking things, dude. I fucking love hard things, because hard things, like the hard things that I used to resist, are the things that I do and I do again and I do again, and they become more simple. They become more easeful because I'm like, oh, I know how to do that now. Oh, I know how to recognize like those, you know, cues that my daughter has when, you know, she's on the verge of becoming overtired. Like I know how to like, you know, do this thing in my business that I used to think was really fucking hard, because I've done it enough times now that it like feels more simple. Like the hard thing feels hard initially, but it becomes easier through taking the radical responsibility and making decisions and having the focus and having the discipline or the devotion to do the motherfucking thing. So that's where we're going to leave off today. But first, I just wanted to share with you, which I'm really excited because, much to what I was describing before, part of my medicine in the world is like, you know, kind of trial and erroring things, trying things on, seeing how they work, ripping shit apart, making it better. You know, this is my medicine. And I'm really excited because I am relaunching my membership tomorrow, Voice, which is all about uncensoring your voice and unfucking your relationship with being seen. Voice is the house of liberated self-expression, and I am pouring my heart and soul into this space. It is like new and improved. We have a brand new platform. There's an app you can download. You're getting a whole friggin' living library filled with trainings and transmissions and somatic practices and hypnosis and subconscious practices. And also each month around the new moon, we get together on a live call where we're going to do really epic, fun as fuck shit together, where you're going to really in real time put into practice the strategies and the things that like you truly like need to be doing to truly uncensor your voice and unfuck your relationship with being seen. And in our community, there's spaces to mastermind with other members. There's space to ask me questions. There's space to like dive into a whole slew of, again, practices that are really, truly designed using my Aurora method to support you and stepping into your liberated self-expression. And I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. The first 10 people who join get our founders rate for $47 USD, and then the price jumps up to 97 USD, and we're going to create so much magic together. The thing I wanted to mention too is throughout this entire year, each month has a very intentional theme, and I've created this arc of transformation throughout this membership to support you in really doing this from a place of presence, from a place of wholeness, from a place of really taking radical responsibility for who you know you're here to be. So again, every month has a specific theme with specific practices. So not only are you getting a whole living library filled with previous recordings and trainings and practices and so much that's specifically here to guide you in liberating your expression, but every single month, on top of getting together live, you're also going to get uploaded a whole new series of practices to support you with that very specific theme so that you can truly step into this beautiful connection to your embodied leadership through uncensoring your voice. and unfucking your relationship with being seen. And so you're invited to come join. This is a movement. This is here to fucking like totally blast off like the what it really means to blast off. We're here to blast off self-expression. We're really here to like change the way that we liberate our self-expression. So many people are just working with the conscious mind alone. Like, we're here to blend the subconscious, somatics, and mysticism to create a really delicious experience when it comes to this work in a whole new way. And so I'm so excited to invite you inside. You're going to be able to go to the show notes and click the link there. You can go to the sales page. You'll see all the beautiful things that you're getting. And I cannot wait to support you in this way inside. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, I highly invite you and encourage you to leave a review. Send this episode to someone that you know that maybe needs to hear it. Feel free to DM me on Instagram. Let me know your takeaways, and I will see you very soon.